a small town where the rivers run slow, there's a little pet shop that no one goes. With dust on the shelves and a creaky front door, I found my new friend in a cage on the floor. He's a tongue-zapping, dome-eyed, cricket-eating chameleon, with colors that blend like the sunset so serene. I pretend not to see him as he hides in his tree, but he's always watching me. Oh, why can't he just be? Tongue-tied love, oh, we're two souls who exist in this world where we pretend that we don't coexist, with a silent understanding we're happy as can be. Me and my chameleon, oh, how we're meant to be.
The colors changing, shades rearranging like a chameleon. Always engaging, inspiration strikes out of the blue, never knowing what it'll lead me to. Madagascar calling, the unknown beckons, exploring new lands. And time for seconds through microscopes, I see a whole new view. Discovering the unseen, all the things it can do. A million lives that got me soaring high. I found the lead, reach for the skies. Building cages, raising mountains with flowers, and my eyes so wide. Reach for the skies. Building cages, raising mountains with flowers, my eyes so wide.
Well, good Tuesday evening, everybody. Welcome to the Chameleon Talk, and I'm very glad you're here because this is a favorite time of the week. It's where I can hang out with all my chameleon people, and that's a good way to spend a Tuesday night. So let's see how everybody's doing here. Wow, we got a lot going on. Oh, look what I got in the mail today. Remember, we did that interview with Marcia Ipsen, and she was talking about how she makes these resin feeder run cups. Well, I got mine today. This is, you find this on Etsy, the Neymar's cricket feeders. And oh my goodness, this is so, I love this. It's a resin, and it's smooth on the inside. And so, okay, so it does have the climbing area back there. One thing, honestly, one thing I love about it is the D-ring here. It allows me to hang, so I just make a little bit of a hook. It's going to go in this cage back here. So I'm just going to put a little hook on the dragon ledges. Boom, hang it on. And yeah, that's nice and simple. It's most of the feeder run cups out there have another way to attach it. And this is, it's a lot easier for me to do it this way. I'm saying there's a lot of very nice feeder run cups out there, but I am very excited about putting this and trying this out in the cage behind me. So I got 2, and it's just this resin is very cool. So anyway, I'm going to put it, start using it, and you will be seeing how it's going. Hello, Matthew. And oh my goodness, we got a lot going on here. So Carlos is asking, are the baby cage coming back to Dragon Strand? Carlos, they are available on special request, but there's a minimum order of 3 to get them to be able to do it's to build to order at this point. But you talk to me. Someone else is already talking to me, and I need to get back to them. So if 2 people get together and want them, then we can combine and do them all at once. Let's see. My Brucessia Theranzeni have started pursuing each other to mate. How long does this usually last before copulation? Yeah, whatever's up with them, whatever they want. Yeah, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to talk to them. Sometimes it is quick, and sometimes it just takes forever. Jeez, yes, that's just the way they are. So, what do you think of the bug burger stuff I used to make for crickets? I used to put a slab of it in the cam cage so escapees could eat. I use it. I've been using it, and it seems to have worked just fine. So, yeah, I don't know, of all the stuff that we're feeding our crickets. I have no idea what is actually doing a great job and what is just being eaten. It's kind of hard. Hello, Twisted Head Rush. Hello. So, okay. All right. Question of the day. How are the eggs doing? Well, they are hanging out. Oh my God. Gee. Oh, what the? Okay. They're doing great. Look at that. Oh, my, Yvette. If you got, come here. Guys. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine this actually happened on camera?
Hey, you got some hatchlings?
Come here. Oh my gosh, she's not happy.
Oh my gosh. What the heck? How many eggs were in there?
Well, there's 7. Where did he come from?
Is it your fake frog?
That's my fake frog. That's not really.
Oh my goodness, Bill.
Okay, how do we get? Oh, I can't.
I'm gonna get a little critter keeper.
It's so dark, I can't even see. I want to make sure his eyes are open. He's just so dark, I can't even see. All right, everybody, this is. I gotta. It's hard for me to see if he. You just hang on for a second.
What do you
Let me
want
see.
to do?
I'm just gonna maybe get a little bit of light. I just want to make sure.
Do you still need right here? Yes.
No, I'm just.
Okay. The doggies are like getting all like in my face.
Oh yeah, I can see his eyes.
Oh, that is so adorable.
Oh my goodness. All right, everybody. Ryan, the answer to your question is the eggs are doing great. Oh my goodness, everybody, look at that. This is a Kaluma brevicorn. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? Oh yeah, I thought this was going to be another boring showing of the eggs. Oh boy. All right, dude. We are might need to reschedule tonight and take care of those things. You know what? We're just going to I'm just going to put him in this this container. Where is he? Did he come from this egg? Nope. Well, I'm going to have to do a little bit of research to figure out which egg he came from. So I will put him back in here, and he can just kind of hang out for a little while. That's the reason why I have sticks in here. And then after the show, He's got a he's got a nice place that actually I'm almost done set up, and I will be done within 5 minutes after the show. Okay, you just hang out, dude. We've got you a great place. All right, I'm going to put this way over here so it's safe, so there's no way that gets knocked over. All right, so people, we are let's see how well he's doing, and he's everything should okay. I'm gonna work on figuring out what to say now, everybody. He's that was oh, well, hello, Primo. Hello, Craig. You got hi. Well, there's the new Brevicorn. Let's just hope everything is good and he's healthy. He's looking healthy, but you gotta. The thing is with hatchlings, you gotta wait for a little while to make sure that they came out and everything went right. And so, yeah, let's. Obviously, I'm very excited, but I'll keep you informed as to how it goes. We all know, of course, I don't expect there to be. I'm not trying to jinx it. I'm just being cautious. At first, I guess they turned in the right. Yes, Craig. Let's see, Matthew. At first, what do you feed? Fruit flies. Fruit flies. I will put a mash, a cup with mash, like a banana. I'll just mash up a bunch of banana, and the wild fruit flies will come, and he'll be able to gorge on wild fruit flies. I will supplement that with the smallest crickets. Yeah, we got the size he'll eat, and crickets and fruit flies, and so that's what's going to be. That's what I'm going to use. And I'm late to the show. What's the locale? This is a brevicorn, so it is. It doesn't have a specific locale. I had that long to take to hatch. That was, I believe, 14 months. I'll have to go and I'll take a look at the actual dates. Oh, you know what? I am just so happy that actually happened on a live show. You guys have been with me as I've been checking month after month after month, twice a week. And this is the absolute perfect time that it could have happened. And so I am so glad that you were able to be there with me for that first hatching. And that truly, I've been checking every day. And so this actually literally just happened because I checked this morning, and there wasn't a hatching. So, okay. All right. So yes, Steve Hefner, you're next. We need you. We need to have a play date and have these people have mine meet yours. Eric, thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. So baby name game this Saturday, but you know what? I'm gonna wait a little, Mikey. I gotta wait a little. I just yes, Nick. Everybody said, hey, check the egg. So I brought out the egg container, and lo and behold, there was actually a baby in it. So we actually have a hatchling, the first one. Now, what's interesting is it isn't the I put one egg up on top like we usually do, and then I put a bunch of eggs together under the dirt. And the idea was that if all the eggs are together, they're supposed to hatch together, right? At least that's the theory. Well, I just got one guy, and it doesn't look like it's from the one on top. So I guess I'm not proving any of those hypotheses today. So guess we'll find out. Hey, we got Mike Taitula. Hello. Oh, yeah. How is the cohab tank going? I am working on, it's going slowly. I am working on building it all out, and I've got to tear it down and put it back up. So yeah, I'll in the next coming weeks, you're going to see it as I as I build it out together. Thank you for being there. Well, you know what? Thank you for being here and sharing these moments with me. So, see, Jimmy Flaherty. I always love saying the name. So, took my almost year-old female out. She ate houseflies. She likes to sit outside. However, she quit eating. Oh, well, you know what? Usually they don't go, usually they love houseflies. And I let them have houseflies as much as possible. So, so I support that. So, all right. Well, hello, Hidden Exotics. So anyway, what was I saying before I was so wonderfully interrupted? Oh, little guy, you just hang out there. You'll be fine. So yes, so we were talking about this hanger, this feeder run cup that Marcia Ipsen makes, and oh yeah, okay, we already did that. We already talked about that, and let's see. Can we see? Oh, I see him. You guys want to meet the little guy back here? Oh, sheesh. Yeah, it's you know what? I'm gonna go to this side. I think have I introduced you? Probably not on a Saturday, on a Tuesday. Let's go ahead and say hello. Come here, buddy. So here is a juvenile. Well, he's not. I'm not juvenile. Young adult male Kaluma O'Shaughnessy. I like to call them shamrock chameleons. And so when I say shamrock chameleons, this is what I mean. And he is my smallest one right now. And really wish he doesn't show all of the bright emerald greens when we're on camera like this, because he really doesn't like to be held. But when he's in his cage, he just flashes those incredibly bright colors. And so wanted you to those of you who haven't met him, I haven't come up with a name for him yet. I was thinking about gloss, which was green, Irish for green, but then that just doesn't roll off the tongue. So anyway, he's saying hello to everybody. And we are going to put him back in. Let go that. And Mike's saying you're going to Animal Con this year, right, Bill? Everybody, I am sorry, Mike. I'm not going to be able to go this year. Something came up and messed up the plans, and so I'm not going to be able to go. Now I will be at Clint's Reptiles 5th anniversary celebration, but I won't be at Animal Con, and I'm very sorry to miss it. And so, yeah. And I'm very sorry to be able to miss meeting up with my favorite Canadians. But yeah, well, I'm gonna have to find another way. Look at that guy. Oh, Spearmint. We can't name him Spearmint. I already have a Spearmint. Let's see. Hi, Bill. A baby veiled chameleon hatched yesterday. Should I feed her today or tomorrow? You can feed her whenever you want to. I generally feed them within 24 hours. They may or may not eat, but I have food available. Just because whenever the baby comes out, I say, all right, it's your job to become huge. So it's time to start eating. As soon as they're ready to start eating, let them start eating. The thing is, if you just have a bunch of fruit flies, they're not going to bother the chameleon. If you give them the fruit mash so they can hang out at the fruit mash instead of wandering around looking for something that means something to them. So, yeah, I just start with the fruit flies, and they'll start eating whenever they're ready. Yeah, yeah. Saw a video of yours, and there was a cool drainage system on your site. You're talking about the drainage tray? All it is it's a tray. The cage sits on top of a tray, and there's the floor in the cage, which isn't watertight because I want the water to flow down around it and into the tray, and so it gets into the tray, and then the water collects in the tray, and that's it. Now, if you're looking on my YouTube, there are other things you can do. You can I've put drains in the bottom of the cages, and then there's tubing that goes to buckets, and so there's all sorts of things you can do for drainage. But the Dragon Strand systems, they just have a drainage tray, and the cage sits on the drainage tray. And the reason why I do it that way instead of adding all these other things is because that is the simplest drainage solution. And you can use it on your bedroom dresser. You can use it anywhere in the house. That's the easiest way to do it. And so that's what I sent out there. And then I just, where is it? Yep. Just use this wet dry vac, and I just suck up the water. It's very simple, very simple. Thank you, Alicia, for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Oh, by the way, everybody, and the little guy back here has had his 3 negative fecals, and so he is clean. Well, at least the way we have arbitrarily decided to say he's clean. I will continue to measure our study, investigate. What do you call it? When I look at all of the poop, I will continue to do fecal tests on him every time he poops, just like every chameleon I have. They get tested every time they poop, just so I know. What about dew for Mountain Dew? Hey, well, there's an interesting idea. So, ask Patrick the Malagasy term for green. That's a good idea. He doesn't seem to like no, he does not like to be held. And he is paying his way by being a model for the community, but he does that like once every month. And he's good. Can baby veils eat pothos? Usually they don't. I haven't seen a baby eat one. I wouldn't be concerned if he did, but I haven't seen it. And by the way, today I have the travel mug, and so there's no coffee in here because I need to get to sleep tonight. It's aloe juice. I enjoy my aloe juice. So let's see. What about coming to Tinley? You know, I'm thinking about coming to Tinley, and one of these days I will, but I don't have that planned for this year. Falsch. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce all this kind of stuff. Tuesday. Okay, we got some good names for chameleons here. Let's see. When do you switch a baby panther chameleon's food from fruit flies to crickets? Hidden exotics, I generally have an overlap. I start them off with crickets as soon as possible, and I keep them on fruit flies for as long as they like them. And so my approach with babies is that they just have food all over, not all over the place, but they always have food available to them. It is in plenty. And so so I have them both. Now, the thing with fruit flies is they're free for me because it's summertime here. When it's summertime, fruit flies are everywhere. You just put an apple down and there's fruit flies swarming. And so I'm taking advantage of that. It's not as easy in the winter, but I'm still California. I still get it. The problem with feeding babies crickets is that they get pretty expensive, and crickets can be expensive, and we can raise them ourselves, but I don't have time for that, and it takes a lot of work. I mean, it's easy, but it just takes time. So I would, as a rule, I get them on crickets as soon as possible. They can grow with fruit flies, but it's when they start eating crickets that they really start packing on the weight, and that's what we want. So as soon as you are in a position to bring in crickets, do it. And when they're really small, maybe you got to start off with the pinheads, and they go quickly. They go quickly. Let's see. I just got a veiled chameleon about an hour ago. Super young. Very experienced reptile owner, but what is one thing you wish you did differently? And what advice do you have? Okay, this is a very good question, and I am going to give you a thoughtful answer on this. Now, to answer the question, what is one thing you wish you did differently? That actually is a difficult question to answer, because when I first had baby chameleons, I didn't know anybody. This is like in 1980 or something like that. And so when I first did it, it was one thing I wish I did differently. I don't know. I wish I knew what to do, and I didn't. And it was just it was very it was bad. So maybe the best question I can ask is, what advice do I have? The advice I would have is to first, don't cut corners. Don't try to save money. Our keeping a chameleon is meant to be an experience. I treat it as an experience, not something that I got to get through, or I got to do as cheaply as possible. So get the big cage, get the good UVB. You don't have to be extravagant. I'm not saying throw money away, but get the good stuff, because the better the equipment you have, the more enjoyable it will be for you, and it's like a win-win situation. And you can go get the adult cage right now. Your veiled chameleon is going to grow so fast. Just get the 2x2 by 4 foot tall cage and raise them in that. I've raised hatchlings in the 2x2 by 4 foot tall cage, no problem. And if you make it heavily planted, yes, they do a lot of hiding, but that's what makes them feel secure, and that's our job, is to give them the opportunity to feel secure. Now, with the veiled chameleon, they don't hide so much, and so your guy's going to be trucking around regardless of how big that cage is. So you're not going to have a problem finding your veiled chameleon, even if you give them a large, well-planted cage. And so that would be my advice. Go big. Another advice I would say is be very careful how you do your research as to the care, because there is a whole lot. We've always had problems with people that didn't have experience or trying to give advice. But it's becoming much worse, because now we have people who are making AI websites, and they already have chameleon websites done by AI that sound reputable. And so, Hannah, as you go into this world, and by world I mean the chameleon community, research the people. Don't just type in the search term, how do I take care of a chameleon, or what do I do for hydration? Research the people and make sure you know the name of the person who wrote the source. If you go to a website and you can't figure out who it is that wrote this website, And if you do have a name, but you type it in and that name doesn't exist outside that website, be careful. And then just have fun with it. And don't get involved with politics. If you're part of a group and that group has another group that they're in battle with, and they say don't, and they're requiring you to be part of a group, don't get part of it. You don't have to. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get what's everybody else's in the chat. Put in the chat. What advice would you have for Hannah, who just got sounds like a very young veiled chameleon? Let's talk about that. So Jose Martinez says, sometimes I wish I did differently was not buy the chameleon set. Yeah, it's talking about the chameleon kit, the Zoom Egg chameleon kit. Yeah, unfortunately, that has been sold in so many places along with baby chameleons. And it's very difficult to make that work. And for veiled chameleons, it will work for only the first couple of months of their life. But then you got to do it just right. It's not good. Yeah. So let's see. Give the biggest cage possible. Yep, that is good. Good. I would agree with that. Let's see. Yeah, the best thing that you did is check on here. Chameleon. Yes. Well, thank you very much. Yes. ChameleonAcademy.com. Okay. Yeah. Let me go ahead and say that. Go to ChameleonAcademy.com. There's a profile section, and I have the most comprehensive veiled chameleon care guide that exists. And the advantage of my care guide over some of the others out there is I've actually kept veiled chameleons and I bred them multi-generationally. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about. And I've talked to the people who have actually seen them in the wild and used a lot of information from them. So I am quite proud of my care guide. He hardly had any information in 1990. Can't even imagine how tough 1980 must have been. Trial and error and geographic research. The problem, Ryan, I mean, honestly, the problem was that I was, 10 years old or something like that. And I didn't have a car and I didn't have a group to work with. It was just like talking to all the people at pet stores. And so all the pet store owners were my research. So that was a lot of fun. Let's see. Okay, so Reese, my girl, says, for me, it would be to buy all the equipment to check that your parameters are good. Excellent. Again, the nice stuff, not the cheap kind. Yep. Mist King. Yes. Brian, I agree with that. Buy a linear bulb if you're going to have live plants. Well, you know what, Jose, we're actually... For live plants, it's got to be LEDs. We don't have the option of having our option of having T5 fluorescent bulbs is going out the window. We'll be lucky to keep them for UVB, but as far as for plants, we've got to go LED bars now. We just don't have the option. The T5s are no longer. We're not going to have them available to us. I've got it. I'm actually in the process of having to change all of my build guides because I had these T5 systems for light. Now I got to change them all to LED. Oof. Let's see. Oh, so Hannah says, we did get the 2x2 by 4 foot tall cage. Definitely make sure to research the people too. Yeah, Hannah. It's becoming more and more important because I go and you know what, I did search engines on various did searches on various search engines. Google has some AI. Bing was horrible. Bing is loves AI and was returning so much garbage. So you've got to be so careful. It's getting worse out there. I know after 3 months they need to be in the large cage. At what age do you consider them the next thing after hatchling? If my question. Okay, so after hatchling, I guess we call them. I don't know if neonates same as hatchling. I think juvenile is the word that we use, but there's no real established. So everybody's going to have their own way of saying it. Me, I use hatchling, and then I use juvenile, and then young adult and adult. So that's what I use, but I'm not going to die on that hill. If other people want to use other terminology, as long as I know what they're saying, I'm good. Have many plants and branches. Yes. Here's one, Hannah. One that my favorite one. We beware of falling into the trap of just looking at the world with your own eyes, and look at the world through the eyes of your chameleon. And where this really comes into play is when you talk about having a densely planted cage. We talk about that. And I have seen cages where it's just plants all over the sides and back. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the chameleon's in the middle. And so, yes, it's densely planted, but the chameleon can't use any of the plants because it's being framed by the plants. We need the plants to be where the chameleon can get behind them and use them to hide behind as security. And so I would say make sure you look at the world through your chameleon's eyes. And that will give you perspective when you're interpreting the things that we say on the care guides. Fields are pretty hardy, plenty of places to hide, and good water dripper or mister. Christopher Bell says use a fogger. I really like using fogging. Oh, yes. LED is better anyways. Better lumen. Oh, well, oops. Yes, is correct. And invest in the solar meter 6.5 to check your UV index. Yes. Hannah, I will say the first thing that I suggest a chameleon person getting once they have this set up and all established is a solar meter 6.5 so they can actually measure the UVB. You look on my care guides, I have charts that tell you the distances. I had to make those charts because a lot of people don't have solar meters, and so they can't dial it in exactly. But those charts are just a gross approximation. Every bulb throughout its life, it just starts way high, and after 2 weeks, it kind of degrades. And then over the next year, it kind of degrades, and each light is going to degrade differently. And so it's best to do your UVB check every month. So that's what I would say. And the second thing that I would say after you get your solar meter is get a microscope. But that's going a little bit further and further and further and further. Thank you very much. Yeah. Get a microscope and check fecals. Yeah. And solar meter was the biggest piece of mind purchase. So, all right, everybody. I wanted to share with you a video. There we go. All right. So I'm sorry that it's moving. I should stop. How about if I try to stop it? Everybody, what do you see in that video there? I'm going to go take a drink. You put down what you see in there. That's good. All right. Am I just not getting comments? Somebody's got to tell me what they see. Reese, my girl, are you doing your own fecal tests? Yes, I do my own fecal tests. I am doing fecals just about every day. So extensively. And Wayne Abites says coccidia. Oocysts, trip to the vet. Yes, you are all correct. Coccidia emeria. Yeah, so we're getting even more exact. Yes, all of these, if you look on there, you see these little tic tacs that have 4 objects in them, inside of them. That is a type of coccidia. And as Marcia identified, they're Emeria coccidia. Now, some parasite nerd here is going to say, but Bill, how do you tell the difference between Emeria coccidia and Coleoemeria coccidia? And I will say, what you don't, do you see? I don't know if you can see it on this one, but in this one, I actually saw unsporulated coccidia. And to all you parasite nerds, you know, Coleoemeria sporulates inside the body. And so if you see unsporulated coccidia, it's either Isospora or the Emeria. And I saw the unsporulated in actually this sample here. So we do know that this is the Emeria. And if you said, what the heck are you talking about, Bill? Then, okay, don't worry about it. This is for all of my parasite nerds. For those who don't know, I have a class that I have called Hunting Microscopic Chameleon Parasites. And a lot of the alumni from that class are in the chat right now. And so we kind of nerd out on the parasites. I hear the Jeopardy theme. Yeah, can you see that? What is it? Yeah, listen carefully. That's Yellow Brick Road. Yeah. So when I'm recording us, whenever I do my fecals, it's like I always have 4 or 5 fecals, and I have YouTube going on in the background, and so you always get serenaded when you listen to my videos. Now, here's the interesting thing. That's a nematode. As far as I can tell, that's a nematode ova. And honestly, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that shape. So I'm going to have to do some checking to see exactly what the heck that is. That's yes. It's important to have the professionals do it. And when there's something that's new to me, that I don't understand and I can't figure it out, I take the sample to my vet. And if they can't figure it out, they send it off to the laboratory where they have professionals who, gosh, I don't know if I could do this as a professional. I'd probably love to do it as a profession. But yeah, I use my veterinarian whenever I am not sure what it is. Little Elton John. Yes, actually, I think it's that Sarah Oh, it's some lady singing Elton John. So, Bill, you're going to be super busy tonight with the hatchling coming. Yes. Are you going to put the ones that hatch in the cage right away, one at a time, or wait till they all hatch? They're all. I've already got their cages. So let's see if I can. So you can see. Well, you can't see because I don't have the lights on because they're reflecting. But that's the start of the cage bank. Whoops. Things going crazy. So yeah, back there, that is the cage bank that they're going in. Emma Lafia Rose Project. What kind of parasites? What we saw in that video was a coccidia and a nematode ova. Who supplied this sample? This was one of, let me check. I think this is one of my Parsons chameleons. There's one Parsons that I'm still working on getting the coccidia out. I don't think this was the snake. All right. So now I'm wondering. Let me go back and check because, yeah, this is important. Let me tell you, I tried to do some snake samples, and oh my goodness, those things are ugly. Ugh. Okay, no, that was my Parsons chameleon. one of my Parsons chameleons. And yeah, so I'm working on slowly deparasitizing all of those. Let's see. What kind of chameleons did you hatch? Brian, brevicorn, Kaluma brevicorn. Let's see. Reason my girl says, except in my area, the exotic vets don't know how to properly test for parasites. They told me my chameleon tested positive for Giardia. That's okay since all chameleons have it. Don't think that's true. Yeah, Giardia. I don't know. There may be, I mean, flagellated protozoa, and there is a question as to how much we should treat flagellated protozoa, because there are some protozoa that are not dangerous. There are some that are actually helpful, and then when you give metronidazole, you're just wiping them all out. Yeah. Need a quick refresher. What UVI do you look for at the basking point for babies? Okay, this is, I generally like to have UV index of 3. And that's we've been testing that. Dr. Michael Nash did a paper on using UV index of 3 and UV index of 6, and found UV index of 3 worked better for carpet chameleons. And so it looks like UV index of 3 tends to do well for chameleons at any age. Now, when I have babies, I'm very careful not to over UVB the entire cage. Yeah, I know we keep hearing about how we should have these, they should be T5s and high output, and that's on an adult cage. So we got to be careful when we have a smaller cage not to totally irradiate the entire area. So I have it at UV index of 3, but I also don't blast the entire cage. And honestly, this is where that little compact fluorescent light that's in the chameleon kit, this is where it actually comes into is useful, because it's weak. It does provide UV index of 3, like 2 or 3 inches in front of the bulb going through a screen, and so you can use that for hatchlings. And that doesn't mean it's a good product, because it's always sold with juveniles and young adults, which can't use it. But when we're doing advanced husbandry, we don't demonize products. We understand their characteristics, and so we know when we can and can't use them. Let's see. Question to your T5 response: are all T5 linears and bulbs are not coming back? Okay, so what's once in a red moon? Fluorescents are being phased out in favor of LEDs. And this isn't reptile community. This is the government, I guess the world, at least the United States, and I believe Europe. But I'll say in the United States, they're phasing out fluorescent lights, period. And these reptile companies are having to get exceptions to be able to sell T5s. Like for the UVB lights, we're having to get exceptions. So it's something that we are being forced to do. And even now, if you go on Amazon and you look for grow lights for plants, that's huge. That's where I got all of my fixtures, my T5 fixtures. Can't find them anymore. Maybe you'll find one, but now they're all LEDs. And so we've got to go to LEDs. So they're not coming back. They are being phased out. So the DNA tests are scary. A Panazaril worm. And is the LED sufficient to their care? Okay, so the LED lights are good for plants, very good for plants, and they're very good for chameleons as far as the white light. As far as the UVB LEDs, I don't know. They appear to work, but like anything, if it's new, we have to figure out all the characteristics of it, and they're just too new for us to really feel good about it. But I know a number of people are using them with no problem. So I am going to hang on to my T5 UVB lights until I'm absolutely forced. I'm going kicking and screaming because we've worked so hard to figure out how to use these UVB T5s. And so, but I know eventually I'm going to have to get to the UVB LEDs. It's going to happen. So let's see. Could you explain what can happen with some of these parasites if the cam is stressed, or just how it can negatively affect them over time? Oh, that is an excellent question. Oh, Ryan, thank you very much for handing me that excuse to talk about this. Okay. In the wild, let's just say normally, a chameleon has a certain level of parasite burden, and the chameleon doesn't notice it. It's not clinical. It's not making the chameleon sick. Yes, there's parasites. They're siphoning off nutrients, but it's not slowing the chameleon down. This is the balance. And this balance is kept because the immune system is strong and it is just wiping out these parasites left and right. These are why the parasites have to produce so many offspring, like the coccidia has to produce so many of their, well, it's not oocysts yet, but the forms beforehand to produce oocysts. It's because so many of them are knocked down by the immune system. And so when they live in balance, the chameleon doesn't notice at all and is very, very healthy. And this is exactly what the parasite wants, because if the chameleon dies or gets sick or is slowed down and is eaten, well, the parasite's dead too. So the parasite doesn't want to overwhelm its host. And so there is this understood balance that parasite is going to overproduce because they know that the immune system is going to knock them down. And they've just decided this. Not decided this, but this is how they've developed. Now, and evolutionary, any parasite that overwhelms its host has died out, because you can't kill your host. And somebody may ask, why doesn't a parasite just auto-infect? That means infect the host that it's already in. So why send all the eggs out the back end when you could just have them hatch inside the chameleon and they could be exactly where they need to be? There are some parasites that auto-infect, but they also have forms that go out into the world. And there's another reason for going out into the world. There is spreading out your genetics and so, this is very complicated, but you don't auto-infect because you don't want to overwhelm your host. And the problem is, in captivity, not only do we, and also also they overproduce because they're being pooped out into the Madagascar wilderness, and somehow all of these microscopic ova and oocysts that are not mobile have to find their way back into the mouth of a chameleon up in the tree somewhere. So you can imagine the millions upon millions of oocysts that are sitting out there and that will never find a host. So that's why they have to produce so many oocysts. And when we come into captivity and there is stress, then the immune system is weakened and it can't hold down all of those parasites like it's supposed to. And so the parasites just start going out of control. They're saying, what the heck is happening here? How come nobody's stopping us? We need to be stopped. Somebody please stop us. But there's nobody to stop them because the immune system is weakened because of stress. And this is why our husbandry is so important. I mean, and like I've said, if you have what great husbandry, your chameleon can have a parasite load for its entire life, and you never know it because it doesn't get out of hand. It's small and it stays small, and the chameleon's immune system is keeping it down. And that's the natural state of it. So, yeah, if the cam is stressed, this is why they get overly sick, is because the parasites inside just go out of control. It's the same with bacteria. When they're breathing in bacteria, that bacteria, it tries to take hold in the lungs. This happens every single breath, and the immune system just scrapes it off and beats it up and sends it packing. That's the natural order of things. And so when the immune system is compromised and isn't as effective, well, then the bacteria, there's nothing to stop them from multiplying, and so they start taking over the surfaces of the lung, and that's what we call a respiratory infection. It doesn't happen because of some weird bacteria that came from Timbuktu. It's not a novel bacteria. It is the same bacteria that it's breathing in, day out. It's that it no longer has its defenses. And so this is your chameleon's immune system, the husbandry that we all are studying so hard to give our chameleon. That is the number one defense against parasites. So there we go. You think we'll have trouble getting these T5 exceptions for UVB, and do you think the prices will rise significantly because of it? I don't. I hope they don't have trouble getting the exceptions for the UVB. They shouldn't, because there's actually wording in these laws saying you can get an exception for stuff like that. So they should be able to do it. And as for what the price is going to be, I don't know. As they should be available as usual, but as the LEDs come in and more people start using LEDs, then the T5s are just not going to be as much of a demand, and so they will probably get harder to find. And when you aren't making as many as you have before, then they're more expensive to make. So, yeah, I don't know. Wonder if I should go clean them out. Yeah, if you see them for $14, clean them out. I think that is a good approach, because you'll be able to use those for years upon years upon years. And when you are finally out of them, we will have a lot of experience behind all of the UVB LEDs. So that's a good plan, Stephanie. That's a good plan. Are there any benefits to these parasites that maybe will keep other more harmful parasites at bay due to them just being competitive inside their host? The answer is we don't know. It is a definite possibility, and there is that kind of drama that goes on in the parasite world. The story I love to tell is about the trematodes that take over the snails. They go after a particular snail, and then they invade the snail, and they take over the snail's reproductive organs, take all of the energy going to the reproduction for the snail, and they use them to create more trematodes or flukes. And they want to protect their snail factory, and so they literally create a warrior class of this life cycle of a trematode that defends this snail breeding ground from other trematodes coming in trying to invade the snail. And so they make breeders and they for reproduction, and then they make a warrior class to protect the snail. So this kind of complex battles are going on at that level. And so I don't have an example for you, but I would be surprised if it wasn't happening. Now, as for, I can't think of any parasites that are actually competing against each other inside the chameleon. But as I said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it wasn't. I wouldn't be surprised if we learned it was happening. I would be surprised if we learned none of that happened, because I mean, this is their entire universe. They have had all of this millions and millions of years of evolution to develop these complex universes that are all within the gut of a chameleon. And it's an amazing thing when you start going deeper and deeper into the life cycle of parasites. It's amazing. Oh, yes, we need to talk. Everybody, tomorrow morning, DIY Chameleon Guys, part 2 of the Big Fogger that James was working on. And he talks about some of the bells and whistles that he's putting on in there. And so if you want to be hardcore, meet us at 5 a.m. in the morning on YouTube as we release the episode. Of course, it's available anytime afterwards, but for the first showing, there is a live chat that we are in, and we all hang out and we start our day off with chameleon goodness. So yes, thank you, Mikey, for that reminder. And besides the chameleon's immune system, do you know if parasites have natural microscopic predators or organisms that compete or prey against them? I don't know of any. We're starting to get down to some pretty low level. We're talking about single cell stuff. But there's things that eat single cell stuff. So lots of things. So I don't know specifically of things that like will eat the coccidia. But once again, I wouldn't be surprised. See, the thing is, y'all might be surprised at how little we really know. It's difficult tracking the life cycle of these parasites. They are microscopic and they keep changing form. And when they change form, how do you know? I mean, just think about like the worms or the coccidia, all the way they change form throughout their life cycle. How do you know if a scientist sees one stage of the life cycle? How does he know that is attached to this other life cycle? And you can't know unless you reproduce it in the lab. And sometimes that's not easy. So we're lucky we know as much as we do, but boy, we could sure use a whole lot more information. Have you tried testing fecal matter for parasites after doing certain types of feedings? Like if you fed your dubia roaches bananas, maybe that would cause a spike internally of parasites. I have not. I have not gotten to that point yet of doing experiments, but I've already been talking. I had a very good discussion with Dr. Michael Nash about some of the things we could discover. And so there's questions that we are now asking. And the more people that get microscopes, the more we can start exploring all of this stuff. And if anybody is interested in taking a class on finding these microscopic parasites, want to figure out how to buy a microscope and how to set it up, how to look for parasites, what to look for, want to know about the medications, I give a class, and you can go on the chameleonacademy.com website and access that class there. It is a paid course. It's on a professional course community website. And so when you're taking these video courses, we're all involved. And so you're not doing it alone. So, all right, everybody. It is time for me to go set up this little baby's enclosure and make sure it's all set up for him. So thank you, everybody, for joining me for this evening. I really appreciate you spending this time with me, and I'll see you hardcore people tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Pacific, and everybody else will be here Saturday at 12 noon as per usual. So have a great week, and I will see you next time.